2-3 weeks past the election day, the person had won, happened to be a Republican. It's neither here nor there, but the point is. But then equal level of people counting that race were not present. So what happened there was that this was allowed to be extended and votes were allowed to be counted weeks after an election. What does that sound like? It sounds to me like 2020. It sounds to me like you count till you get a result or an outcome. And many people know this already, but after 2020, I really think we took a turn for the worse from an election standpoint across the entire country. And we started to pass laws in Ohio that included drop boxes, that included no excuse mail-in ballot voting. And on the surface, there's nothing wrong with providing a degree of ballot accessibility or convenience, but the fact of the matter is if you didn't properly verify or create a system of eligibility in a proper election administration, then you really can't get to that system, right? You kind of got to secure and you got to prioritize verifiability. And my background as an intelligence officer trained me to look at everything from a threat assessment and a risk management framework. And that, I think, is the key, is that if we started to look at our election systems from an area of risk management and threat assessment, what we would find if we were willing to look there, we'd open our eyes and we would understand that for the last 2 decades, that which was ours, which was intended to serve us, the elections, was really taken from us little by little and given to third-party vendors or even turned over to political parties to be the adjudicators of the processes and the activities. And I'm not implying that that's a nefarious component. I'm simply telling you that if you want to have a system you can have trust, which 2/3 of Americans in the lead up to the 2024 elections said they were not sure if they would trust the outcome, if it would be honest. That to me, my friends, is an existential crisis. If this country cannot trust the result, then how will they defend the outcome? And it's more important for us to defend the outcome, good, bad, or indifferent, than it is for us to get our candidate to win. Because it's not about getting the candidate that you want. You accept the loss, but you work harder. That's our system. That's what organizations that we have third-party groups do. They organize, they get people ready, they get them to vote like that again. So when I saw that, I realized something's wrong in Ohio as well. I spent the last 2 years in my spare time raising a 2-year-old, 6-year-old, and 8-year-old, doing the whole post-military thing, but something is pulling me to do something more. I don't know if it's just because when you leave the military, you need purpose, right? 33 years, you need something to get you got. But for me, it was evident that our country spiraled after 2020, that things are not where they should be, and that we were further drifting, and that spooked me, and that I believe we've got to get back to a place where we all can have confidence in the process and accountability. So I started working with a group in Delaware, a group of ladies, and we started to look at the laws. We went to the Secretary of State's office. We tried to be helpful. We tried to support that role that they had and inform them, hey, these are legitimate areas of weakness. And that one thing led to another. Last year, I was able to go and write a law which would have given us comprehensive election reform. I had a lot of policy background. I worked for the number two military officer in this country, and the Vice Chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff, and I worked for the top intelligence official and the Joint Chiefs of Staff for the J2. And so I've been given a unique privilege to serve at a very high level, which opened doors and possibilities to me to go into and make a lot of money. And I didn't want that. I'll tell you why I didn't want it. This is a piece that I want you to know. This is not about making money for me. This is not about a title. There's something far more greater in the selflessness of our state, in this country, to give in that way than it ever is about making that. And when I saw that unfold and how our military was transformed in a way that I didn't think represented my institutional values, I also thought we have to look at every facet of it. Elections was what I'm drawn to because for me, I'm pointing to that instance in that election because so much in our country changed with lockdowns. It's not long ago that our elections were canceled in Ohio. Not once, but twice, for tens of millions of dollars. It's not long ago that we have accepted everyone into the voter roll system without having qualified that eligibility factor. That still happens today. And last year, with many, many people getting issued credentials, citizen credentials, we asked the question, how many people are registered who are ineligible or non-citizens? And the astonishing fact is this. In the state of Ohio last year, 236,000 people were issued identity credentials in the state without knowing for a fact if those people were or were not on the voter rolls. So that signaled to me that something fundamentally has to be changed. And so I raised that issue up. I went on Jack Windsor. I went on Bob Francis' show. Jack endorsed me recently because he knows that I am the type of candidate that comes in and is focused on what are the real issues, what are the real solutions. All that matters to me is how we get to that. That's the key. How we work together to address those areas. What we do well, keep. But what we don't, we need to be the beacon of our integrity for the state, but also for the country. And I brought that to bear. And then what happened last year in Hamilton County was these third-party voter engagement organizations who were touting their, essentially bragging that they were progressive power. They started to submit false registration forms, and they did hundreds. And we brought that up as well. There are people here that know all about that process because they were with me in this working this to try to get this